I joined that as well. Could you tell?
I could. My ears hurt, but I still love you.
Thank you.
Now we see the bus coming west to northeast side, right across Tilted. If NICKMERCS were here, it'd be a dream drop, but we have a number of players jumping out early. See that bottom left corner, like I said before, dropping over the water is super important for that. Dropping over the lowest elevation they can to get the parachute to open as late as possible, the glider, so they can fly into one of these loot spots and hit it as fast as they can. The southeast side of the map potentially getting quite a few players going there, but it's always been a pretty even spread across the map, Jack.
Yep.
These competitive players, they see these locations, even the non-named ones, as an opportunity. A fight there for a weapon. Aiden picks it up, gets a couple taps, trying to drop down, and this pursuit we saw earlier against Sadie's going for round 2. Gets it, tendons goes down early. No weapon. That spot right there in the corner, a pretty common weapon spawn location, but nothing there this time. And tendons coming up rather unlucky as the first elimination for Aiden. Tilted is maybe his home and native as well.
On the leaderboards, we saw that it was Saf who's in that top, I believe, 12 right now. Fly Crunch immediately popping that Portafort, wanting to play the high ground and look for where exactly his opponent is in this top Viking Village / Valhalla area.
Now, you mentioned earlier Ghost, a team that has a number of high-performing players here. Saf, one of them who is trying to peek for a shot here.
No, right? No way.
You know you want to.
No way. What was that counter peek from his opponent?
Very fast. It looked like he potentially contacted around the tree next to him. Both these players trying to get a peek shot on each other, but materials super important. Saf recognized that. He's going to start smacking through these little huts out here to try and gather up as much wood as he possibly can, because this engagement, this is the kind of engagement where you know somebody's going to come out alive and somebody's not.
100%. That's Airco. Bouncing on around, only has the ability to build 4 more walls. There's 2 of them.
2.
Player just below gets control of the roof. Doesn't pop in right away. At 120 HP, I'm wondering if he's worried about having more or less than his opponent in this situation, or if he just wants to go for it. Oh, and he knows. He must know that Rex is weak. He probably inflicted this damage himself. Airco trying to go for it.
Just a quick update. The players that were fighting up top, on the top of the mountain, Valhalla, Viking Village, they actually disengaged from each other, so no resolution from that yet. Potentially running into each other later. We'll have to see.
More kind of quick little farming from Airco, and it's so funny. You think it really is 5 wood a big difference? 1 wall, 1 ramp could be the difference between life and death. Tempo in double L's. Cuts down Lucy. This is Airco still in that fight from earlier. We kind of popping back and forth.
A lot of action happening as fast. Multiple engagements happening. We'll try and give you as many POVs as possible of all of the fights. And there we go. Airco taking Rex out. The Dooley's coming in big there.
Pop that med kit for the moment. That was all the way over at Haunted Hills. Nothing left to his name after that, though.
Back over here, this is Cats Talks, who dropped here actually previously and ended up engaging Aiden, I believe, in the second match.
Ooh, whiffs that build. He'll drop all the way down to the bottom. And I'm wondering how many people are around here. Is it 1v1? Is there a third party involved? I think that there's a third party. Yes, so it's still Tempo there. There's Aiden and then Cats.
You see the map here. A couple locations have potential engagements happening, but this is very, very spread. A lot of players landing. You see there's multiple spots where there's no name. It's not a POI, but there is loot there. And there's a lot of separation. It's interesting, though. You'll see even some engagements in the north side of Tomato Temple at the bridge there. There are two players very close to each other. We have these still, all 3 of them in Tilted Towers here. Cat Stalks, Aiden, and Tempo. I believe this is northeast of Flush Factory. Divine played really well on the heat, looking for elimination here. Gets a couple taps. He still saw that there's shield remaining on his opponent. So aggressive push, gets the shots. The tack, 67, does not get the crit. Only a body shot, and Cub Smiles takes advantage of that. With what
it's going to be so painful
left.
when he sees the health. When he sees the health, it's just going to add insult to injury. Shido just moving around that top motel area. Gonna have to move towards zone. Not a lot of materials, not a lot of shields, not a lot of health.
Back until the Cat Stalks. Stink bombs those aren't necessarily always used for getting elimination eject. The other option there is even just a single tag can give away opponent position if you've lost track of them. You'll see competitive players just drop one against a wall on the outside of a building sometimes to check to see if there is someone inside behind that surface.
It's a zoning tool as well. You throw that on in, you know, hey, there's no way he can push through this.
Now, Velikody doesn't necessarily have to take this engagement jack. That rift to go is so pivotal when depending on your position.
Absolutely. And also in the engagement feed, we just saw Poach within a limb. Myth just got in a limb. Lenane also getting involved. Velu breaking on in. It's a dance party now as he's made it into the dance floor, peeking. Where is his opponent? Gets tagged that up for a little bit. Shields. It's Cup Smiles we saw was down to just 10 HP. Velu can't snap out his opponent quick enough, so from a 200 hit point pool down to just now 120, now down to just 97, not putting any damage yet into his opponent as of yet. Cub Smiles doing everything he can to stay alive in this final game of the qualifier.
If at any point Velikody feels uneasy about this engagement, he can rift to go his way out of here in an instant, but it's looking like he's going for the fast edits. Velikody might potentially be out of materials now.
Oh my goodness, Cup Smiles found a way to medkit or bandage during all of that as well. A second straight engagement, Lupo, where he's dropped to under 30 health.
Fall damage from the tree, got to be very careful around this. They're not super high, but every little bit of HP, that currency, as we were talking about before, counts. And J-Cuddy basically in a punching match against it's Myth, a build-off almost. Not a lot of ammunition, minus the shotgun here. He's going to have to make a play up close, potentially. Tons of materials, though. He's in a great position for materials. He's trying to go for basically a bludgeon or replace on one of these to get an edit, take advantage of it. Myth going for the shot. 15 HP left. He's got to stay above him. Get a peek shot with a shotgun is going to be key here. Goes for it on the drop down. The tree actually absorbing a lot of the damage.
This was a replay from earlier.
Earlier Myth's elimination earlier on King, but Myth goes down to J-Cuddy. And that is the end of the event for TSM's Myth.
We just lost Myth in that scenario. J-Cuddy with the elim. We'll see if he can continue to push on through. Looking down at the scoreboard on our end, Animal at 3 elims so far. Another point this game. Gorilla also at 2, and Lenane with 2 elims as well. Aiden with 2 still in this game.
You see the feed. Poach actually just got his third on Chuck Mass, which gives him 1 point moving into the next round. But Spades, Divine's teammate we discussed earlier, these fast edits, Courage. That's 3 layers edited in what feels like a second.
Yep.
And you can catch an opponent off guard almost instantly with editing that fast. Now, Spades is actually out of materials now. No more builds are available, and he's going to have to start taking shots. He's noticing now, and he's going to drop down. These materials just hanging out, waiting to be picked up, as well as some minis, a med kit, there's a campfire.
Just spawn there? Like, how did that just happen? Okay, he's more than happy to take all that.
Placed a phone call to Epic Games or something on that one. It didn't really, folks. Spades, that launch pad coming in key, choosing to just opt out of an engagement and push this across to retail, which, depending on where people dropped early in the game, may or may not still have loot in it.
NRG General stuck in these trees. So many materials. Look at the inventory. Similar of a loadout to 72 Hours, where it's just going 2 weapons, 3 heals. Tristan versus General. Tristan strikes first blood with the damage. Now trying to swap. He misses the shots. The hip fire is in. And General had everything he could ever dream of, but unfortunately loses his first fight. And now Tristan is rewarded with basically everything you could need.
Lenane, Kutra, and Crunch all in one little cluster. Lenane might be looking to third party, but it's not an issue yet. What a shot. Pops out from around the corner and whips the shotgun shot on Kutra. Gets the elimination there.
Tatlo stopped the apples. I was wondering if he's going to. He is. He's actually going to stop and eat the apples.
The launch pad from Dr. David.
He wants this fight. And I love this, too, because if you're seeing an opponent eat apples, you're like, okay, this guy's got to be pretty low. Brilliant pyramids to block the build of his opponent. Will that give him the chance of the high ground? No, he butchers, actually, his turnaround with the ramp.
A brutal word, Akers, but you're not wrong. And David's going to have to try and choose another trajectory. Do you still engage? In this situation, do you still engage like David's going for?
I think you do. David's got 200 health. He's got minis and medkits. And he knew. The last thing he saw was Tatlo eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate. And there you go. It's a smart play. That's one where
he even nodded his head.
Yep.
That actually was the third elimination. That
literally
gets him a point.
That's to put him at 3 limbs. He saw Tatlo eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate. You go for it all. This was Vide up against Aiden. And GG, either way, Aiden put on a show earlier on, gave everyone a reason to cheer.
A lot of strong talk from Aiden claiming 7 eliminations. I can appreciate the confidence. It doesn't matter how Game 3 and Game 4 turned out for him either way. He's gonna move forward to the finals on Monday.
We
still feel good about that.
Now David, last we saw from him, he was building up on top of this house. He got the elim, now stuck inside. He's got Animal of all people pushing him. Back on over to Skatch, Kayun, and Bowman. The 3-player fight. Everyone getting weak, and there's the double remote explosives. 1. How about a second? How about a second? Anyone else want to play? Yes, please. Bye, friend.
Ooh. Sunk down through, basically phasing through, beat the build. He was faster than the build, dropped in on his opponent, and got that elimination.
Oh, this is a really awesome fight. Tempo versus Animal. Tempo, a name that you've heard so much of from FaZe, a top pro player regarded and known widely across the community. Animal, more trying to build a name for himself in this whole kind of competitive scene. And right now with 5 elims this game, continuing to spread himself out for the rest of the pack.
39 players remaining. The circle has 30 seconds to close, and this is the opposite side entirely from what we've seen in the past. Is far east by Lonely Lodge. Animal right now the only player with 5 eliminations. That's 2 points, and we cut over to him going with these fast edits, pushing up top and trying to counter build against his opponent. To the triangles, you saw him trap his opponent in to try and stop it, and actually standing right next to him and catches Monster with a 140
I'm literally clapping.
Shot.
Beautifully done.
Courage is actually clapping. A beautiful play, a lot of perfect decision making, and capping his opponent with the pyramids right on top of the ramps.
Oh, and then he just ate a rocket from Tempo. I think this is Tempo he's fighting currently. Third party as well. He's got minis he can at least use to heal, but his opponent making sure he has no time to breathe. Here's his chance. Popping those minis will put him back up to 86 HP. Still, though, 1 rocket elims him. Will he launch pad out?
Almost expecting a bouncer to bounce out of there. The traps to block a drop in from Animal. Intelligent play from Tempo.
Oh.
Goes for it, almost gets it, but Tempo reading ahead.
Jeez, these edits.
A third party potentially sniping in on Animal while they're in the middle. Animal Tempo in the middle of the fight.
Tempo knows he's got a huge health advantage. Oh, he looks the build.
Gets
drops
only
it for
shield
90.
tags. Unbelievable accuracy from Animal. Gets a 47 and a 50 with the double barrel swaps and finishes the engagement.
If you are Tempo, I'm wondering if he got caught with his build out still or something awkward, because if you get that floor on top, you cannot lose that fight. That's one that he needs to win 10 out of 10 times.
Joystick might actually have the drop here. Does his opponent even know that? You see him jumping and spinning to look back, but he's just hiding behind the tent. He doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to engage. You got 38 seconds on this rotation now before the storm starts to push people in. Joystick, he kind of just waited it out. He didn't have to do a thing. That's gameplay looking for a top leaderboard position. He's going for rank.
This is going to be our highlights after the game. Joystick sneaking out of the zone.
A good poach, a player we've seen very often. He secured a number of wins in the summer skirmish with Tim the Tatman, among other players that he's played with, and he's a confident player. He can put an entire team on his back, Courage, and he doesn't have to right now because we're playing solos. He has 3 eliminations of his own. That's 1 point already. He's in a great spot, too.
I mean, this is where Poach excels. When he gets in these little 1-by-1s and can navigate around and know, hey, we got to peek this, we got to take a look at this. Here's from earlier on with Ghost Bizzle and Laddock.
Bizzle, wow, the shots, very accurate shots from above. Ghost Bizzle going down. Animal, we've had our eyes on him. He has 7 eliminations right now. That's 3 points for him, which is extremely good. Teenage is above him. He might have to rotate into Gorilla depending on the zone next. And we're looking at the point now when this zone closes, the Storm's going to start to move, and this is the cut down of player count is going to happen. Now Teenage underneath. Animal getting a tack shot, 30 damage. Is just going to start pushing into the spray and catches Teenage in the corner.
Dude, he is on a tear. And that actually just gave him control of at least the zone area. Another pro player near him, it's Gorilla from Team Envious.
8 elims for Animal. Is tied, I believe, for the most we've seen in a single game with what Aiden dropped in the second game. And he's going for elim number 9.
Look, he's not stopping.
Here's the zone. You see a lot of players. Everybody pretty much already inside the next safe zone, but the positioning here, it's going to be key. Whether or not you have to move quite a bit for the zone or not.
Gorilla just kind of staying. Animal, it's like he scared him with those explodes and now has made his move towards a safe zone.
My apologies, I misspoke on which circle it was. We still have one more shrinking down before the movement starts. So 29 players at this point. 8 elims for Animal. He's going to have to start moving in, catch him off guard, get the shot, 70 plus.
Still has minis.
The opponent, you know, still potentially has shield. Didn't get the. There's a sound effect that happens, Jack, when the shield gets popped. It's one that a lot of these players have memorized.
But look what this is doing. Shivzy had the health advantage. Now it's the other way around. But
almost caught
Animal tried to greed the big shield, and just like that, he's down to just 52 HP, and full panic is set on in. Oh, is he going to get this big shield off this time? Nope, Shivzy will not be able to strike. He's actually using this time to pop bandages himself, so Animal will have the health advantage. And Shivzy knows this, which is why he's backing on up.
Here's your leaderboard. Animal literally double the next closest elimination count from Bowman SC, which is crazy. The number of eliminations that Animal has secured. Gorilla and Poach, as well as Vide, all 3+ eliminations. It's a single point for each of them. You see down C9 Shivzy and the rest of the board sitting just underneath 3 elims for a point.
Ooh, and Animal actually still has a launch pad still. And I like this from Animal. Putting that launch pad in his first slot, making sure he can use it in a panic moment, right? Second, he needs to get out of somewhere. It's not on his other trap or anything like that. It's just immediately right on his quick swap. He didn't get any mats from that. God of Rage didn't pick up any mats. Oh, he still can't build a single wall.
54 seconds, and look at what once had a number of trailers and such here for metal farming is completely empty and just filled with opponents now. I don't think you can really farm those Courage for resources or materials like you might expect to be able to. And players are going to find out real quick. Everybody else is hiding around in here. A lot of people are building up their little 1x1s, and this is the up-close gameplay. That semi-auto snipe. Girl's got 125 shots, heavy ammo for that thing, but he probably won't even use any of them.
Dancing around. Look at all these walls he controls. 26 players still in this game. 10 seconds until the zone closes. Joystick, who we saw play in a game of cat and mouse earlier, seems to be in a similar scenario. As we're fighting all around Retail Row, just outside Retail. There we go. Misses the edit. Who's got the high ground right now? It seems like there's a few towers like Slaw Pass right here. That's a huge 62 damage tag.
He's got another opponent on the open. Just a quick tap, 26 shield, which is enough probably to make that player. You look for people to panic build a little bit. Catches another player rotating. You see, as soon as they start to take shots, materials get used, whether you land hits or not, and so you're whittling down your opponent's resources, whether it's HP or what they can build.
He wants a fight right here so bad, it looks like. I mean, yes, he's moving to the zone, but he's got to claim this wall to the right.
Just built a ramp against it. He's going to try and maybe potentially chamber out. Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. He's building a couple layers of defense and does not realize, Sloth, maybe that Fuzzy is inside the box. That wall that you said he had to claim has an opponent hiding behind it now. And the shots
and see, that's why I was wondering why he didn't claim it, and that's actually coming back to punish him. And all that they're trying to do when building multiple of these 1x1s is to make their opponent not know which one they're in. If there's only one 1x1, obviously you're hiding in that. When you've got 5 of these pyramids, it's like whack-a-mole.
So Vague flying in, trying to get inside the safe zone. just a quick glance down at the map. It looks like Logan might be the only one you see down there, the south side of your map right there. He's just away from everybody, and he's going to have to move the furthest right now, starting literally right now. Animal 8 Elim still alive, looking to secure number 9, maybe be the first player to get into double digits in a single game, and he's going to drop down. He's building up layers underneath himself so that the structure up top can't be knocked down instantly. People can't just drop a single rocket and he'll have to experience fall damage, something like that. Even covering the traps like that can be super effective. You'll find people that'll try and push up from underneath and get caught off guard by just
place that wall
trap.
on the ramp. Yep. Animal still in this one, building above the pyramids. He's got the high ground now, and he's got bounce pads. And the beauty of this is, even if someone shoots down the structure, he's so high up that he can place a panic bounce pad, which he didn't get to do yet. He's trying to do it. Okay, that was all the fall, but you saw he was spamming, hoping he could place it because he thought the whole thing was going down.
The number of players stacked on top of each other in this. Everybody is inside this thing right now, and they're all going to have to move. If you look at the mini-map, a west-northwest push from the Storm here. She is a cruel mistress, and players are going to find out real quick. Everybody that's in here, they're all going to have to move out, and in my opinion, an earlier move right now, the better, because they're all worried about everyone that they can hear vertically. Now's the time to get out of there.
Will they do it is the question. Who has bounce pads to kind of pick up the pace there on the transition? Animal with a 9 Elim.
Catches Megalomaniac hiding down in the bottom there, and he's got such a wonderful setup. A lot of up-close combat available for him, and he's not going to go down easy in a 1v1.
Look at all these people stacked. And Animal did use a bounce pad to cross that whole area. You see Shivzy just launch padded. Baboosh just did the same. Players flying on in, stacking and building above each other. Sloth now, he's wondering where his next opponent could be. Worried about his back, it seems. Animal gets another elim onto Shivzy. That's now 10 eliminations for Animal. Seems to be proving why he named himself that right here.
There's almost so much movement right now. Keep your eyes on the feed, folks, because that's going to be where a lot of the information on who eliminates who in the middle of this is going to come from. There's just so many engagements that are going to happen during a rotation, especially the next one. A southwest push. Levake has the top down, and there's so many fights happening simultaneously. You see Sloth goes down to Nazgul on the bottom. A number of fights. Hysteria and Enigma are on top of each other in the feed. Poach gets Animal, goes down with 10 elims. Gorilla taking out Joystick, who was hiding behind the tent earlier. So many players fighting for position right now because 4 more eliminations means top 10 for the remaining players, and that's a point apiece.
This is prime Poach right now. This is when Poach is by far one of the scariest players in all of competitive Fortnite.
Don't box this man in. You will regret it.
Yeah. He knows how to maneuver. He knows how to dance.
He's taking control of a lot of these surfaces, like you were saying earlier. That is a huge piece of up-close combat. Levake not moving yet, even though the surface is coming. He's got to. He's dropping down to try and get any sort
Poach
of
is very low on mats, though.
Nazgul dies the Storm. Fuzzy takes Bumble out. Sean was taken. One of our previous winners goes down to Levake, as we're talking about. Baboosh taking Nice out. Enigma eliminated by the Storm. Vibe eliminated by the Storm. The Storm claiming a number of players here. Fuzzy. Poach goes down to Fuzzy, and Fuzzy gets elimination just before that. We have two players remaining.
It's two. It's
a 1v1. Fuzzy at 5 elims already, which should feel fantastic, but he's going to start getting tapped at from above here.
At least he'll have a big shield to use. So put him at 162.
Push. Sap.
Oh, Sap.
Looking to get the shot. The wall blocks it. A last-second build.
These are all his mats. Keep this in mind. These are all of his mats. Down at a 75. The spray comes in with the drum gun. He's got this player weak. This would be only his second elim, but there it is. Tries to end it on out, but Sap from Ghost gets the victory. And I think if you pick a winning organization from the day, it's got to be Ghost Gaming.
Ghost Gaming has been performing above and beyond. Both Saf and Aiden, every player from Ghost seems to just know exactly how to play this. And he waited. He baited the edit. Seeing Fuzzy work on the wall right there, he took an opportunity, hit the jump shotgun shot, and got the elim. Second place is fantastic. You got to remember, any of these players that were making it all the way to the top 10, they're doing an excellent job of choosing the right time to move in. Let me point out, too, Animal had 10 elims. Second place eliminations had 5.
Sheesh.
He doubled the performance of both Fuzzy and Vide, who both had 5 elims that game. That's 2 points apiece for them, but it's not 3 points. Animal taking home the 3 points for that. Just excellent game.
And he was already towards the top of today. because of his placement earlier on. So he's feeling quite good. We actually have an interview with Animal coming up, not quite yet. Either way, we still have our standings to update you on, see exactly who our 33 players are to qualify for Monday. But after 2 days of qualifiers, we now know 2/3 of the lobby, Lupo. Let's take a look at some Animal highlights, though, before we get into the interview with him in just a few brief moments. This is someone who I think is kind of one of our standout players from qualifier number 2.
This was aggressive gameplay that a lot of players look for, or a lot of spectators look forward to seeing. Those kind of maneuvers. He's dropping the nade in there. These shots get Tempo. This is incredible. It looked like Tempo potentially hit shots against the surfaces that were around the Animal as he hid in his a cubby hole.
Yep. And then the spray. This was when he knew, hey, I'm going to keep the pressure on. Takes out the Splodes. Catches Megalomaniac off guard. 10 limbs in a lobby this stacked. 10 limbs is good in a normal game, in a normal just pub. 10 limbs in a closed lobby like this, pretty nuts. And I'm pretty sure we actually already have him ready to go with Zeke on the floor. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you so much. I am joined here by Animal, and I mean, your name precedes you, dude. You are literally an animal. You dropped 10 eliminations here in the qualifiers. What's running through your mind, and do you ever tire of being a terror to everyone else?
Once you get that double barrel in your hands, you just feel like you can do anything. Play around in the boxes and the turtles, and outmaneuver your opponent, and anytime they get close to you, they're just dead. So anytime you get that, you can just lay out.
Now, what was the preparation like leading from the weeks of Summer Skirmish here to PAX?
I mean, I play Scrim 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, probably 6 to 8 hours a day playing Fortnite, so yeah.
Do you ever get tired of Fortnite? It's a lot of Fortnite.
I mean, it's a grind. You just got to do it. No, never really get tired of it, to be honest. It's the most fun part of the game is playing scrims every night, honestly.
Now, question for you. What is your strategy going to be like here going into the final game, or rather finals?
I want to have a good mixture of slaying out and placing because, I mean, if you slay out and place, you can get the most points. So, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. You know, everyone out there is obviously loving you, right? Because you're just running around the double barrel and just point blanking people. Like, what's going through your head, right? At any moment, you're going to engage someone, and it's like you're so confident in your decisions. You're so confident. You're just like, hey, what's up? It's me, Animal. What's going through your mind at those times?
It's basically trying to outplay my opponent's close quarters, and through quick edits, double barrel allows you to do that, and so does the P90, so that's what I was rocking just now.
Unbelievable. Any final thoughts for all the people out there that love you?
I just want to say, hi, Mom.
There you go.
All right, I got to take a call real quick.
Back to you.
That sums up.
What can you say?
Everything over there.
Yeah.